Venuti, everyone. Give a round of applause. All right. All right. Quiet down, folks. Okay? This man has to tell some jokes. It means you're absolute science. So I know you're very wild and rowdy. The room is packed. But it's going to be good.
Hello, everybody. I'll wait for this music. All right. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say, bring the energy of the room down, because it is too intense in here. That's a joke. Okay. Thank you for coming. My name is Mike. I've come to Max's a few times. I love it here. It's always a really good time. First thing I like to talk about is laziness. I think laziness is like a big part of everyone's life. A personal example, like I'm lazy, but I just like to project my negativity on others, so that's what I'm doing. I'm lazy. This is a small example of how I'm lazy. This is like my life dream. Like I want to be a comedian for life. This is what I want to do. I want to like make a career out of it. But like every time showtime comes around, I'm just like, ugh, I guess I'll write some jokes. I guess I'll go live my life dream. I guess I could get up for that. And every time I'm just like, man, I just want this to be over. I just can't wait to be done, so that everyone can just tell me what a great job I did and I don't have to keep doing stuff for it. But yeah, laziness, it's a big part of our society. I think it goes unnoticed. Like, as for instance, think about this. If laziness didn't exist, would your job really exist? Like, would you have the job you have?
Yeah.
Alright. And I worked at Stop and Shop. I finally quit. I worked at a grocery store for like almost 6 years. I just quit. And like, there's a lot of shit that happens there that I know factually, if people weren't lazy, that job wouldn't be real. For instance, pushing carriages, that's really just like 100 to 150 people being like too lazy to spend their 30 seconds to just grab a cart and then push it in. And they just put all that laziness. They put so much laziness, it has to be some guy's job where he just pushes your carriages for you. That's a weird thing to me, that like, laziness is job creating. And the thing is, like, they like to cover it with the word convenience. Because laziness doesn't sell, but convenience. I would like to buy some convenience whenever I can. And I think, like, it's worked its way into, like, absolutely everything we do. It's insane. But, I don't know, that's my 2 cents. Stop being so lazy. And, like, I don't know, even, like, if you got your own food from wherever, it wouldn't even be grocery stores. People from other countries, their minds are blown by the idea of a market where they just go buy like chips, because that doesn't even exist to other people because they're not as lazy. And that's the thought for today. But other than that, I'm going to get into some more joking matters. I went to private school my whole life for like 13 years of it, and I went from like kindergarten to like senior year in high school, and it was pretty whack. I hated like almost every second. A big part of private school is uniforms, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's cool, you get to look nice all the time, you must enjoy that. And or you could also say uniforms can blow me, because they can. I hate uniforms. I think it's a terrible idea. 3 other places I've seen uniforms off the top of my head: prison, Nazi Germany, and baseball. 3 equally appalling activities. I hate Nazi Germany, prison, and baseball all equally. Baseball is easily the worst sport we have, and I can explain it in like 10 seconds. Okay, so it starts off, they get paid way too much because they run a maximum of 360 feet, and that's it. And then they get like a 2-hour break, and it's just, alright, so baseball is like, some guy stands there, throws a ball, some other guy tries to hit it with a fucking stick, and then like, they try to remove steroids from it so that no one can hit home runs anymore. But what's the point of that? Because if you take the steroids and the home runs out of baseball, you're just watching golf. You're just watching some weird Americanized version of golf. And my other favorite thing about baseball, America wins the World Series literally every year. And that's very impressive, because World Series, you think there'd be a little variety in there. Nope, just us. Every time we win the World Series. But anyways, private school. I went to private school, and like I said, it was weird. Private school is like public school with a lot less fun and a lot more mandatory Jesus. That's pretty much what private school is.
Jesus doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's true too. And also, like, just as another example, like in public school, people like have cigarettes. People smoke cigarettes. They trade cigarettes to each other. They form friendships off of who smokes cigarettes and what type of cigarettes. And private school is just gum. Like, if you pull out a pack of gum, everyone in the room wants to be your friend. So they're like, hey man, do you think I can get a stick? Like, oh man, I only got like 1 left. I just like, it's not a fresh pack. Blah, blah, blah. And then people like, if you like didn't get people come too many days in a row, they would just like be weird to you. And I think it's just weird. Private school is this whole weird, overly religious setup that like, I think it does more than public school to try to like drain your creativity. Like in private school, they do weird things since you're paying for it. Like, and when I was in high school, I had this like one really good friend at private school. He was like also from Brockton. His last name was Rich, and he was actually pretty poor. So that's some lifetime coincidence for you. But yeah, he went there. He didn't have that much money. He got financial aid a lot, and he worked really hard. He never got like below B's. He's always like working on his art, trying to like improve the school. No one hated him. He's a cool kid. And then he was like a little short on financial aid, so they were like, "Yeah, sorry, don't let the door hit you on your way out of the school because you can't come here now." And then like that same year, they had this like pamphlet where it was like, "Oh, give us money because we help poor souls like this kid," and they just had him like awkwardly on a stage with a bunch of like nuns around, like, "Yeah, we helped this poor child." So then like I was there and my friend wasn't there, so I was pissed. So I go to like the main like office area and I was just like, "Hey, you can't like have your cake and eat it too. This is a fucked up pamphlet." And then I was like trying to make up my own sayings, like, "You can't take two sides of a Polaroid picture." But they weren't taking me seriously, so they were just like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here, dude." And I was like, "Whatever. Well, you guys are gonna be really mad that you did this, blah blah blah." And they were like, "Whatever, later." So like I walked out and I looked back and they're all just like, "Glad that's over, and now that problem's done. We'll never have to care anymore." So I was like pissed because I could tell they like could have given less than a shit about like my friend's lifestyle. So I was walking out and they have like these two huge, like they have like 4 doors and then like this statue, like this like pedestal and a ceramic statue of Mary, and then like 4 more doors. So I was like walking out and then I was just like, "Hey guys," and they were like, "What?" And I went up to the statue and I just started shaking it really fast. And they were like, "Oh my God, don't do that." And like the reaction from them when I was shaking that statue was as if I had like a live baby on a rope over a vat of oil and I had like a candle up to the rope, like an old cartoon, like, "You better figure this out, act quick, or else this baby's dead." Because they freaked out. They all like run out. And naturally when like a bunch of weird adults run after you, you're gonna run away. So I ran away. I ran out of the school. And then as I was leaving, they're like, "God sees everything, Michael." And I was like, "That's kind of my point, guys." And then I ran. And then they learned their lesson. And then my friend came back for like senior year. It was good. And we just we finished it out. I graduated. Don't know how that happened, but I did. It was good. It was interesting. I met my girlfriend in high school. We were still together. She's here. And it's funny. We're in like one of those relationships where like, you ever see like there's a dude and a girl, and the girl is clearly way too good looking to be with that dude, and it just pisses you off because like something innate in you tells you that's not right. We're totally one of those relationships. Like she's head and shoulders better looking than me, and also it's like she's black too, like, and I'm just very white. So like if I see, like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, if I like pass by a group of like black dudes, it just becomes their life mission to just end my relationship and make my girlfriend hate me as soon as possible. And it often just ends in stupid shit, like me walking past like a group of 10 dudes and just be like, "I will punch all of you once and I will leave because I'm tired of you." And then they're just like, "Dude, what?" And I'm like, "All right, I'm out of here." And then I just like let her pull me away, pretending like I was gonna do something. And then usually the confrontation ends there. But yeah, we're in like a long distance relationship too, so that means I just beat off a lot more than I used to. And it's interesting though. We have a good relationship. Long distance, it's tough, but like every relationship's tough because like, you know, I just think every relationship's gonna be tough because like there's 2 things. Like if there are 2 things, sometimes those 2 things are gonna be different things. And people aren't ready to accept that. Like women and men are always trying to be equal, women are always trying to be more like men, and like men are always trying to dress more like women as time goes on. And I think it's just weird, but like I think everyone needs to learn how to deal with the opposite sex because like no matter who you are, you gotta deal with it like all the time, every day. Like if you're a woman, you have to deal with my shit right now, and that's unfortunate. But like if you're a guy, all day, like if you go to like buy something from a store, there's gonna be a woman there, and like you're gonna have to interact at some point. And I think like it could be like not everyone, like every man doesn't need every woman also, and like every woman doesn't need every man. And gay people don't need the other one at all. Gay people just need other men or other women. But I think like you're gonna need to know. So here's my advice: if like you're interacting with a man or woman, trying to make it a little better, because it always could be. Men, we just need to stop being such assholes. I think that's just kind of our thing, and it just is the reason like a lot of us just are like just douches. We're just like really assholey all the time, like every opportunity. Like if a dude sees any girl ever eat a banana ever, it's just like, yeah, I know what you're thinking about. Yeah, and they're just like, what? Just like, no, I see you eating that banana. I know it must be on your mind. And they're just like, no, it's completely on your mind. I'm trying to get my potassium up. You're thinking about blowjobs. You're an asshole. I think if we did some less, like a little less asshole being, I think it would turn things around. But also, women, you guys could do some work. I think first thing women can do is just calm down, stop talking so much, and just think if what you're gonna say really needs to be said. Just think, have that thought. Just think, man, is this sentence really gonna build the situation I'm in, or is it really just gonna make someone angry? And I think if you thought of that, it would probably prevent a lot of the fights you have. It also might make something a lot worse. But, yeah, like I said, I quit my job recently. It's like the happiest. It's literally like, if you're at a job right now, I would advise you to quit it, because it's just awesome. If you quit your job, it's the most righteous feeling. It's like, I was in there for almost 6 years. So for me, it's like getting out of prison. It's like I just did some time, and my teenage years were robbed from me, but now I gotta rebuild. And like, I think it's interesting. I met like a lot of cool people in my job, a lot of like my first friends, some of my like really good current friends. And like, I met this dude there, he's one of my good friends now. And like, we worked in produce together. That's how we started working together. And then we would get like these loads in the back. It'd be like massive pallets, and like all just a bunch of different boxes like full of fruits and vegetables. So it was like interesting, and like we saw a lot of shit we'd never seen. Like, two kids not really that cultured, like working with produce. It's a weird new experience. So then we're like working, and then like we didn't know if it was like kosher to eat and like what. And like we our bosses were there. We were just in the back doing this thing, and we see pomegranates, and they're like expensive and rare and like interesting. So my friends are like, dude, aren't pomegranates like wicked messy? And I was like, why? You think it'll like eating one? You think it'll like you like ripping and opening a pomegranate, just like sucking on them? What are you doing? And like before I could even finish my very non-complex thought, he picks one up and just whips it at the wall, and the pomegranate just explodes on the wall like someone had just used a 12 gauge from 30 inches away. And it just looked really terrible. So then this pomegranate mess, it's both of our like first days, and we just scramble to clean shit up. And I'm like our bosses didn't know, but it really looked like we'd been like throwing babies at walls. Like it was ugly. It was a very dark red stain, and it was bad. And I think like, I don't know, I think you have a lot of fun and like jobs don't care about it. And I think like, that was probably my favorite part of my job. I just really didn't care. And they let me do whatever I want. It was great. But I would suggest working in a place like that. But before I get out of here, I got like one more thought. When I get bored, I just sit there and think, it's like, this is what I'm trying to do, so like I try to just think of like the funniest shit I can. And I was thinking the other day, like I wonder how the first high five came around, and I wonder like, under what circumstance did someone invent the high five? Like, I just wonder like, it could be a million things. It could be like someone was just way too amped up about a situation, like give someone a handshake and they just like slaps, and then the guy was just like, oh, I've never felt this. And then it's like, yeah, I just made it up. It's gonna catch on. It's the biggest thing in ancient France. And there's just so many. There could have been a serious fight, and then there was like two guys going for like equal open hand slaps to the face, and they both kind of moved back and then accidentally slapped hands, and they just like overwhelmingly couldn't fight anymore. They just overwhelmingly were too happy to be in an argument anymore. And I think that's how it happened. I think that's also how the War of 1812 was ended. I think it's important to know your history. But that's pretty much it for me. I think that's my time. I've had a great time tonight. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. It's been really real. So take it easy, Maxes. Thank you.